Are you struggling to learn to trust people again? So if that's you, this video should hopefully give you some understanding, first of all, as to how you came to this point, and also give you some pointers as to what you can do moving forward and what you can reflect on. So as a starting point, what is it that causes us to lose trust in people? First, one of the main things is when we've just come out of a toxic relationship, when we feel like we've been treated unfairly by the other person, and when we've left that relationship, it becomes hard to trust other people again because we feel betrayed. And the second is when we've been cheated on. And research shows that 20 to 25% of people have admitted to cheating on their partners, right? So you can only imagine how many more there are if this is the only portion that's admitted to it. So putting cheating aside for a minute, I have noticed that there is a lot of confusion surrounding what healthy levels of trust really are. I have found that people open up very quickly and trust other people very quickly by giving away too much of themselves, meaning that they have poor boundaries with themselves. They're giving away too much information too quickly. When you build trust in others in a healthy way, it's allowing each other to build that trust over time by getting to know each other. And that trust is built with gestures, with actions. And it's the small things that occur over a period of time of indicating care towards the other person, rather than words, right? So first of all, I'd like you to ask yourself, what has your approach towards trust been until now, around this concept of trust? What has it been until now? What's your approach been versus what is it that you now believe it to be? Because when we have boundaries within ourselves, we set them based on our intuition and on our instincts. So what I've noticed in people who say that they are struggling to trust people because of their experience, if you ask them about their experience, about their relationship, more often than not, they'll tell you that they saw signs in the beginning, signs that the other person didn't want to commit, or was a commitment phobe, or that there was something that felt strange, right? Their intuition was telling them something, but they ignored it. So this is why it's so important to give importance to our intuition and to learn to trust our intuition again, because our intuition will give us the answers that it needs. So sometimes, rather than trusting others, is it really your intuition that you need to learn to trust again? And act based on your intuition, because it's the one that's giving you the right answers. So on the cheating side, why do people cheat? There are usually around 7 reasons, right? The first is sexual desire. The second is feelings of anger. So when we're angry, we become impulsive. We act irrationally. So anger creates irrational behavior. So when we make decisions based on anger, we start to make irrational decisions. And that's why I want to encourage all of you to not make your decisions when you are angry, right? Never make decisions, or important ones at least, when you're angry. The third reason why people cheat is a lack of love, feeling a lack of love. Now, if you're the person who's been cheated on, please understand that I am not referring necessarily to a lack of love that you're not giving sufficiently to the other person. What I mean by love is the whole concept of love. Love that they lacked in their childhood, in their background, in other areas of their life, but they don't feel fulfilled enough within themselves, which no matter how much you give will not fulfill them, okay? The fourth is neglect. So a lot of this is related to what I just said. So feeling neglected in terms of love. And the fifth is a lack of commitment. So you might define cheating as something different to the other person. So for example, emotional cheating might be important to you, but not the other person. They might not define it as cheating. So this is where it's really important to be aligned on what your definitions of cheating are. and connecting and communicating that with each other. The sixth most common is alcohol. So the effects of alcohol, and in particular during big events, right? Very significant events like big birthdays, hen do's, stag do's. And the reason why people act irrationally during those times is that it makes them feel good. It boosts their ego. And they think it's boosting their self-esteem when in fact it's boosting their ego. And the final one is the desire for variety. So some people have more of a desire for variety, and most people will not admit it to themselves, let alone the other person. And that's where it's really important to break through that and start by admitting it to yourself if that's what you desire. One big thing to understand is that healthy relationships are not about having a perfect relationship. It's about consistently creating one through effort, through communication, and through maintaining a sense of connection from both sides, right? Equally from both sides, because communication and connection involves both people, shared, right? And another really important thing is personal goals. When you feel fulfilled within yourself, you don't rely on the other person to fill you, right? So you need to have personal goals and passions that are important to you, that will fulfill you. And with personal goals, you end up having personal focus and discipline. And that's really important to have that personal focus and discipline. Because when you're powerful and focused on your own energy, you start to attract the same energy into your life. You also don't end up putting all of your emphasis into the relationship, asking for the relationship to give you what you're looking for, because you need to create balance in your life by creating a sense of fulfillment that comes from different parts of your life, not just one. Okay. Another thing I want to mention here is if someone has made you feel like you're the one, but in reality you were just another one to them. So basically through their words, they made you believe that you're the one, that you are the only person in their life that they want to keep, right? But in reality, through their action, they behaved like you were just another one. Then what that consequently creates is for you is that instead of making you doubt them or doubt the relationship, it ends up making you doubt love and trust. So you use that as your new definition of what love and trust means, which becomes quite a negative thing. But this is why it's so important to understand that this isn't love. Love and real love and trust is something that is shown through time, through action, not through words of saying you're the one, when through their action, they're acting like you're just another one. Okay? So let them earn your trust and earn your love. Don't give away too much too quickly. Have those boundaries with yourself. And another thing is here's a typical scenario, right? If you're with someone new who has just that tiny bit more than your previous person did, the previous person that you left, you suddenly think that this new person is so amazing, that they're perfect, because they have that tiny bit more than the other person didn't have. And again, that's not reality, and that's not rational, and that's why it's important to give it time. It's the small gestures over time through repetition that creates connection and trust. Another big thing is when we feel chemistry, we tend to overlook logic and reality. And that's why a lot of us end up ignoring red flags, and especially in the beginning, because our chemistry ends up overriding the sense of logic or even our intuition that we're feeling. It makes us ignore the red flags. So this is where we have to give importance to our rational mind in those moments and slow it down, even if the chemistry is telling us otherwise. When people cheat, now this is a really important point here. When people cheat, you may feel like they're walking away with your worth, that they've taken your worth away with them. which consequently makes you lose trust in other people. Now, here's one big thing I really want you to understand. Your worth belongs to you. And that's why they call it self-worth, because the word self means it belongs to you, meaning that no one can walk away with it. It belongs to you. It's just about you reconnecting to it, because it's within you. It belongs to you. That's what the word self means, okay? If someone shows you their true colors as well, please believe them. If you're considering to return to that relationship, please know that you can still forgive them and support them from a distance. But you're the one who ultimately chooses if you want to relive that story again and put yourself at risk again to being hurt all over again. Because in the end, really important point here, in the end, we only attract what we are prepared to settle for. We only attract what we're prepared to settle for. So, important pointers here that I want to give you. First of all is listen to your intuition and don't ignore it, because it has the answers. And like I said earlier, a lot of people will have seen the signs early on and ignored it. And then later at the end of the relationship claimed that the trust was taken away, right? But in reality, you had the signs that were telling you to slow down and that the trust still needed building. So connect to your intuition and act accordingly and trust your intuition. The second thing is be clear on what happiness and true connection means to you. What do those concepts mean? Happiness means a sense of fulfillment, which you can achieve within yourself on your own, as well as in other parts of your life, as well as a relationship. It's about creating that balance in all areas of your life. And true connection is something that's developed over time, through effort, by keeping it consistent, putting consistent effort into it. The third thing is be clear on what it takes to build trust. What it means to build trust in a healthy way. So giving it the time it needs and allowing actions to play out. Okay. And finally, don't spill everything out and share everything at the very beginning, sharing everything about yourself with nothing left, right? Allow them to earn your trust. And earning the trust goes both ways, right? You're earning their trust, they're earning your trust. Allow them to earn your trust and set those boundaries with yourself. Your intuition is telling you how much to share. So don't share too much. And share as much as you probably even would with a new friend or a new colleague. Sometimes we give away too much in new relationships because of the chemistry, because we're ignoring everything else that our rational mind is or our intuition are telling us. Okay, so have those boundaries set with yourself. Those boundaries come from your intuition. So what that means is that what feels right and what doesn't is what your intuition will tell you. So learn to trust your intuition again. It has the answers, and don't allow the chemistry to override your intuitive voice. Your intuitive voice is the voice that matters most in the end, above anyone else's voice. Okay, don't ignore that inner voice. It knows best after all. I will leave you here, but please DM me if you need any support. I offer free calls if you'd like to discuss your personal situation a little bit further and find out how I'd be able to help through coaching. I'm currently offering 3 different programs, a 3-session, 6-session and 12-session. So if you're going through issues as this one, I would recommend the longer term if you can. If you've had coaching before, then one of the shorter term programs might be suitable for you. But I'd be happy to discuss further on a call. So if that's what you want, drop me a DM and we can arrange that for you on Zoom. Okay, take care guys, and take some time to reflect on this. I hope you found it helpful.